Okay, I'm at 1557 Spring Lawn Avenue in Cincinnati, Ohio. We're doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for mainly structural issues, but anything that would be concerning to the buyer. The access is it's left side of the basement if you're facing the house. In the center of the basement wall there's a main stack, and that's our access point. And then I may try to go, there's also one in the rear right corner of the basement back by the washer and dryer, right in the corner, and may go in there to check that branch, just see, check the other branch. So based off the age of the home, this is kind of what is expected. Looks like the above ground plumbing has been replaced with PVC, but the underground should be clay all the way out. Just a little bit of build up of debris there right at the turn. So clay is a pretty good material. It tends to last quite a while. There's no real lifespan of it as long as everything stays put. The most common thing we see is root intrusion, just due to the fact that if you watch, you'll see a connection like that roughly every 3 feet or so, sometimes less. And so they are just very, very short sections of pipe, and so there's just a lot of seams. And so over the years, there's a packing that they use around those connections that can kind of shrink over the years, and they start allowing in, tree roots. There's nothing a tree likes more than, water and fertilizer all in one place. So I'm probably going to run some water. It'll be a big old, looks like a big old cave cricket there. But I'm going to run some water too, and we'll just make sure everything's flowing well once I start pulling back. Hopefully we can get all the way out to the main. A lot of times what we have is, a lot of times on situations like this where it drops off, there is a hard turn right at the base, like by the sidewalk, where it drops off because of how high the house sits. So hopefully we have a nice easy turn. So far this is all looking really, really good. Try to run some water once we get out all the way and kind of watch the line function as we go. Wow, so it looks like we have made it all the way out to the main. We're dropping into that larger pipe. I will go out and locate it, because it looks like if you look across, you see that connection coming in. On the other side, it looks like something's been blocked off, so it may have been an old house connection or something. It looks like a pretty big connection though. But if we drop down in here, you'll be able to see water flowing or something. It's kind of hard because of the angle we're at. And this is probably a pretty big, yeah, there you go. You'll see that's the pipe, and as I pull back, you'll see how we're hanging in. We're just hanging into the edge of the pipe. There you go. And so we are in the main. And so that is wonderful. The line looked great. I mean, for its age, you couldn't ask for anything better than that. And so I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to run some water here in this stationary tub, let it make its way down to this point, and then we'll start the recording again, and we'll watch the line flow as we pull back. All right, so water has made it all the way down to the main. Which is good. Got there pretty quickly, actually. And so we'll pull back, and we'll just kind of watch the line function as we pull back, and hopefully we don't see any buildup of water in the low spots. You can kind of see that even under heavy use, if you look on the sides of the pipe, it's not even halfway up, and you see kind of the flow line. And most of the time that's going to happen when it's that heavy. It's usually only when you're doing laundry or maybe taking a shower when we're using multiple fixtures at once. Alright, this is splash of water down the front. It's very, it's a little surprising that there's not, and how good a shape this is in, actually. I mean, just the fact that, normally you get so used to seeing probably 70, I'd say 80 to 90% of the clay lines that I do is usually a big tree right in the center of the front yard, and so when they're 100 years old, they tend to start letting in roots. And so this line is in really, really good shape. A little chunk of dried debris there, pop loose. We'll pop that loose and just send it on down its way. Let it flow out. I'm sitting there where this house is vacant, so I'm sure that the line, obviously it wasn't real wet when we got here, but it looks like the line's draining wonderfully also. It's got a nice pitch on it. All the connections look good. I mean, there's really not even any, a lot of times you'll see kind of lippage here, like on the edge of these connections where they make turns and stuff that are, just have a little bit of an edge on them, and you really don't even see that. This is where that line comes in. So when we go from that other clean out, once I pull back, that's where we'll be coming in. And so when we see that connection, that's where you'll. So just making sure there's just a little bit of debris there at the base. But when we see that connection, that's where you know that we made it to the spot that where that little branch ends, and that we've already inspected the remainder of the line from that point. So from the main stack all the way out to the main, that line looks really, really good. And so I'm going to pause the video. We're going to move over to the other clean out real quick. It's the kitchen clean out, so I'm sure it's going to be really nasty. The worst lines in the house are usually the kitchen lines because of food debris, grease, and all kinds of other stuff that goes into that. It's usually the worst line in the house because of those things. You wouldn't think that would be the case, but the kitchen sink is probably the nastiest fixture in the house. And so we're going to go into this rear right stack behind the stationary tub and the washer and dryer. So you can kind of see, it's kind of strange how I have to get back here. We're going to see if I can climb back here and do this without getting in the way. So here we are in that back, and you can see already the food debris and the grease that coats coats the inside of the pipe. And so this happens a lot where I'll probably have to push out. There we go. Luckily, it was just a little bit of water sitting in there, and there should be water flowing through this line. Yep, and so there you go. You can see where this comes down, runs into the stack, and then we have a spot right here where that water's coming in from the stationary tub. Just a little bit of food debris right here in front of my camera. I'm going to work it back and forth. see if we can just kind of pop that stuff loose where it's coming in. There we go. And you've got that water running. That camera lens is only a ½ inch off the bottom of the pipe, so it's not a problem. So we'll make its way over here. Tie in for a floor drain. One right here with the condensate in it. You see a little bit of like kind of spider cracking. That's not an issue. The line is holding shape. It's kind of old age. You should be coming up on that spot really soon as far as where it turns into, and there's the connection. So we've done all the line. Looks like we got a few spiders hanging on too. Yeah, the line looks great. Obviously this line is a lot dirtier than the rest, like I mentioned. And then once you get into that main, if you notice how clean that other one was, it kind of flushes out all that debris. But the closer you get back to where the kitchen is, that's where you have all the nasty stuff. But no, this line looks wonderful. It's in great shape. So I didn't see any defects at all. Got a little bit of grease, a little chunk of grease there if you look on the side. That's the biggest thing you'll see is little chunks of grease that get in there. And also, a lot of people don't realize liquid fabric softener also has some, it can actually cause some grease buildup also. Has a lot of oils and stuff in it, and it can kind of coat your clothes also. But the line looked great. I didn't see anything of any concern at all, which is just great. Especially for its age, like I said, this line is about as good as you could possibly ask for. It's in wonderful shape. It's got great pitch. All the connections are nice and tight. Didn't see anything of any concern. And so when they'll be testing the individual fixtures to make sure that there's no, when they do the whole house inspection, to make sure that there's no, slow running sinks or showers because of hair or something like that. But the main sanitary line running all the way out to the main is in great shape. So that's going to end the inspection at 1557 Spring Lawn Avenue in Cincinnati, Ohio.